This is our 20-foot yurt. I've been using this yurt as a prototype to get through our permitting process to allow us to rent to the public on our property and have guests stay here. We're almost there. We've gotten probably 2/3 of the process complete. We have another 2 yurts being built right now. This one, however, needs to come down, get a few repairs, re-permitted, the base, gray water, wood stove, and set back up. So we're gonna take it down today and probably store it for some time to do some repairs while we get the other ones sorted out. I'm gonna go through some of the things that we learned from this yurt, some of the things that went wrong but didn't go wrong. Yeah. So the biggest thing with this yurt was it was set up in an extremely windy location. So we're at the tail end of six or seven fields of 100-acre proportions, and so we get a good amount of wind. You can see our windmill got pretty beat up a couple years back. We've yet to fix that. It's on the agenda. But the yurt also has taken a beating on the back side. It never fell over. It never collapsed. But as you can see, that ain't right. Boy, that ain't right. You can see the covering here is pretty worn and beat up as well. That's actually by design, somewhat. So this is like a UV treated poly tarp. It's like your typical tarp, but it's a little more heavy duty. It lasts probably 3 years before it would need a good replacement. This has been on this one 5 years because I think I had one on it previous. And you know, it gets pretty beat up in the sun. It gets beat up with the tie down straps and the ropes, especially when you get the winds like I'd mentioned previous. So you know, that's somewhat to be expected. Should have been replaced a couple years back anyways, but we've been going through this zoning process, so yeah. The idea behind that is that underneath you have, you know, $1,500 to $2,000 worth of canvas covering your yurt. So to replace a $150 tarp every 2 or 3 years to protect that canvas is worth the investment. Again, this was used as a prototype, so there are things that we didn't get back to once we had gotten it set up and gotten the process rolling. Things that we will be finishing when we take it down and set it back up again. Things that we learnt from it, like the wind. So we'll put some bracing on the back wall. Overall, though, I've been pleased. The plan was to take it down last fall because we need to, like I said, re-permit the platform and go through all the process. However, last fall was kind of a whirlwind. We didn't quite get to it. The coverings have been worn already for a few years, and we've had a little bit of water and leakage, unfortunately. So there's, you know, our felt has gotten a little bit damp, so it's going to need to be fixed up. And the platform we'll probably have to resand the floor. but we're going to reuse the platform, at least the floorboards, because they're still good. However, we'll rebuild the platform underneath with new wood for the permitting process. I'm gonna have to clean the domes in the future. That's all bird shit. But you get a real good indication of the damage that the wind was causing here on the back side over time, and it just pushes hard on here. So all these knots have come loose. I'm gonna do probably a whole new back section of wall for the 20-foot yurt. You know, these sections are good and strong. It's had the bracing of the door frame and the fortunate to not have the brunt force of most of the wind coming on that backside. So those are still good, which is, you know, awesome. You know, looks like might need to fix a few on this one that have come loose. You can really see here. And that's just the pressure of the wind pushing up against it. Like I said, it's been here for 4 or 5 years, where it's had these coverings, and we set it up, I think just over 5.5 years ago. We got it set up to try to go through to rent it and go through that process, and so it's been sitting here for that long and just getting beat up on the backside. But yeah, you know, I kind of expected that. It was a prototype. I knew there'd be lessons, and honestly, I'm extremely impressed at its strength and resilience, considering what it's been through and what I've seen other buildings go through the past couple years. So 2 winters ago, we had an extremely heavy snowfall, and there were a lot of buildings that collapsed under that weight. Unfortunately, nothing from this bad boy, which gives me good feelings about the strength of the yurt, even though, you know, I've seen it go through lots of abuse, this yurt and other yurts. The only times that I've personally had issues with them kind of like collapsing or falling apart, or it's all been human error. Personally, for me, I've had it happen twice, and it's where I did not fasten the yurt properly down to the platform. And traditionally, yurts are set up on, like, in the Mongolian desert, or in the steppes of Mongolia, where, you know, it's like, you know, flat ground, grassy, but, you know, not on a platform. So what happens is when you set it up on the platform, if the wind blows it, it's gonna move if it's not fastened down to the platform. And then if it shifts and it, you know, falls off the deck, then the whole yurt just falls off the deck. So I had that happen to me twice. Both times my fault, 100%. So yeah. Aside from that, like, I'll include some videos of this yurt in a couple storms where I got evidence to show how much flex it really has. So that's kind of a video on what I learned, lessons learned about the 20-foot yurt during our permitting process, and things that I will have to do to prep it for a rebuild. So I'll go through that process a little bit. Part of that process is also going to include part 3 of my 20-foot yurt build series, where we'll go through the roof rafter poles for 20-foot yurt, because I have to replace a few for this one. So we'll go through the process of making those, since it's the same. This is identical to the yurt that I was building in that 20-foot yurt process, and that yurt has actually been set up, and people have been enjoying it for now a couple years. I've gotten great feedback. They're real happy with it. So we're excited to kind of get this one back going again. It'll be available for rental, hopefully, probably next 2021, since we're just really focused on the 1814 yurt right now. The Pandy kind of changed a few priorities for us this year, and yeah, so we're excited to get this one up. I'll take you through the process of taking it down. We're going to take it down today and store it so that we can do repairs and get it set up in the next year or so. If you like the yurt videos, put a like on this video. Comment if you have any questions. I'll try to get to them, answer everything I can. Yeah, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Happy yurting. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers.